When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! Welcome to SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Hey!
We're here to bring you another group of top 10 lists. We worked hard on this top 10.
Yes, we did.
We spent 3 months, essentially, watching nothing but anime films. And if you want to know some of what we did to prepare, or at least I did anyway.
I tried.
You can check it out. Last week's vlogcast actually showed some of the prep work we did for the film. You'll see some of my picks are not on that prep work. I don't even know where you are. So we are going to do what we can to start you off. So I'm going to work quickly, but I want you to check it out. I went through a lot, and I thought it would be really cool. So, number 10. All right. Number 10 is a short film. It is an artsy short film, and it is a fun short film. And that is Katsoo.
How did I know that would make the list?
So you can see my version is this one that has this little blood thing. It's still there. And it has the little kitty cats floating around in it. And, of course, it's got some actually fun special features along with this. This was released by Software Sculptors. They did 2 versions of this release. I think you've got the other version.
No, I think I have that version.
I gave one, maybe Brittany got
I
it.
think you did. You gave it to her, yeah.
But this is really hard to find. It is out of print,
And we got
unfortunately.
it cheap.
Yes.
We got it.
So yeah, both at Movie Stop.
Yes.
This is a
May they rest in peace.
2001 film. So not that long ago. The Japanese name is Nikojuri So. It's approximately 34 minutes long. By far the shortest on this list for mine. ANN has it ranked as very good. I disagree. It's actually a masterpiece. Directed by Tatsuo Sato, or Sato, also known for Bodacious Space Pirates and Martian successor Nadesco.
Really?
Yes, I only took stuff that they directed, like full-on, not animation director, but full-on directed.
That's an interesting thing.
Interesting assortment. This is an individual who wasn't even starting off as an animator. He started off as a lawyer.
Wow.
So it's very cool. This is an artistic film. It is a film about 2 siblings, one sibling's quest in order to save the life of his older sister. He managed to save part of her soul from death, unfortunately leaving her as sort of a brain-dead husk. So he had to go on an adventure with her in order to gain the soul back. Now, that sounds like it's on the ground, but the series is nowhere near on the ground. It doesn't even touch the ground.
On the ground?
That series is up in the air, on the water, in an elephant, everywhere that you could think of. That series is. It's done with 2 cats as the main characters, cat soup, especially as a part where somebody tries to eat them and make soup out of them. Actually, it's the other way around. Make soup out of them, then eat them. And it is very artistic. It takes several times. Every time I've watched this film, I have learned something new about the plot as I've gone on. It is a cool film. Yeah, there is a plot.
I don't know.
It's I thought about putting Dead Leaves as an honorable mention because I watched those back to back the first time I watched this, but I was looking for some of the weirdest stuff, and that's how I found Cat Soup, and it definitely counts as some of the weirdest stuff.
Yes.
Number 9. This is a more recent watch. I know one that you've got on your list, so I have to fight that with another one of similar type, and that is Barefoot Gen. Now this is the
One
one that
I
has
have not
both of the films, the first and second film. As you can see, this actually talks about the disaster in Hiroshima. It starts off with a young boy named Gen and his family during wartime living in Hiroshima. And everything seems to be, struggling because of the war. Similar things to, well, there's other films that are similar to this. I think I've mentioned a couple in the past, like In This Corner of the World, stuff like that. But this one actually has a graphic moment when the bomb hits. And not only does it do that, it goes through and it shows you a lot of the stuff where you've got the bodies of people walking who are dead and they don't realize it yet. All of the most nasty stuff that are taken from true accounts from the war. And on top of that, what makes this, to me, higher above something like Grave of the Fireflies is that it takes that and it leaves me with a message of hope at the end. This child and his family, they never give up hope. A lot of crap happens to them. It is, to me, one of the most effective messages I've seen when it comes to World War II Japan anime. With the least effective being Momotaro. God. Propaganda film from heck. This film was done in 1983. Japanese name Hadashi no Gen. 83 minutes. ANN's rating is very good. Director is Mori Masaki, also known for one called The Door into Summer. It's the only one I've seen of his, and even that one I have vague memories of. Still, a fairly good film, one that anybody should see. The second film follows along the same lines, has some fun in it, but does not make the list.
It is one I have not seen and need to see.
Next one, number 8, Summer Wars, which I got upside down. As you can see, I love this cover, but I love how
Embossed.
you can take this and, of course, it has the human representations. Summer Wars takes place in the world of the semi-future, in a way, where you have this online interposed world where you have all of these people with their avatars doing everything, such as buying things, chatting, fighting each other, everything you could think of, they do.
Imagine if Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and a couple other big entities merged together. That's pretty much what Oz is. So when something goes wrong, it goes very wrong.
So this one, it has these two people who are doing some programming for this particular area. And they are invited to do a job for a girl. One of them, in particular, takes her up on it, which turns out is he is supposed to pose as her fiance for her family at her grandmother or great-grandmother's get-together. Now,
90th birthday celebration.
Many strange things ensue, especially when our main character gets a strange text, and suddenly afterwards, a weird virus has taken over his account and has invaded Oz, making it into a living hell. I loved Summer Wars. It's fun. I rewatched this one not too long ago, much like I did Katsoo. It is a wonderful film. I have fun the entire way through, and the depth that this film comes in at is, it's wonderful. I mean, it really is a great film.
And coming soon to Inside Movies Galore.
Yes, it is one of the ones that made our Inside Movies Galore list. Actually, I have at least 2 on that list on here. So, it was done in 2009. Japanese name Sama Uozu.
Summer Wars, basically. Yes. It was.
Length of 114 minutes, longest so far on the list. excellent rating in IMDb. It looks like we are going up in the world. And director is Mamoru Hosoda. I don't have to tell you about Mamoru Hosoda. He has done many, many things. I think one of the most recent was Mirai.
Yeah.
And, Boy and the Beast, Wolf Children. So many films.
Very, very talented director.
All right. So, number 7.
I thought that was going to be your number 1.
No.
Wow.
You should know better.
Apparently.
So, Studio Ghibli does have a few films on my list. And this one was one I watched a while back on HBO. It was one of the first ones I watched, and the original dub. And that was Kikis Delivery Service. This is of course the Disney release of it. I have also the original release before that for a reason I'll discuss in a bit. Kiki's Delivery Service is about this young witch, and witches and her family at a certain age go off on this sort of study where they go off on their own, learn to live on their own, and kind of adapt their powers, so to speak, so that they can function better independently in the world. Now, it's a fun one. I love the cat. This is one of this was one of the last roles, I believe, by what is his name? Phil Hartman.
Oh, Gigi.
Yeah, which is kind of cool to hear that, and they kept that. Disney had actually changed the dubbing for so many that were released, but they did not change the dubbing for this.
That's kind of hilarious. Phil Hartman voiced a role originally done by Ray Sakuma. That's interesting.
So I've seen this 3 to 4 times, no more than that. I've seen it many times, and it is a really fun and heartwarming piece. To me, it is when I have a hard time watching and not having a general sense of warmth and joy at the end. And that, to me, makes this well worth your watch.
Oh, yeah. If you want a feel-good anime, it's one of the best ones for that.
Done in 1989. Japanese name, Maho no Takubin.
Takubin.
Yeah. 103 minutes long. Excellent rating at IMDb, ANN. And the director is Hayao Miyazaki. Now, of course, many of you probably haven't heard of him. He is just a bit director after all. Probably did a couple of small short films like Katsoo and then this.
Watch our pickups video.
But the reason why I have 2 versions of it is the music. The music is excellent in this film. And one of them, they had 2 English song adaptations. I can't remember both of the names. The first one was Soren, and they are excellent. I prefer these to the Japanese tracks. And that's saying something, because usually with these, when they make original music like that, I'm not as big on that. Many times the Japanese tracks are better. But in this case, I really liked both of those. And Soren is just an excellent song. Again, feel-good song. It feels like that. But I wanted to watch this to see about the other differences. It is good transfer, but I will be keeping my DVD copy because it has those song releases on them. Alright, number 6. Another Ghibli film. This film is one that I just rewatched today and reaffirmed the reason for putting it on the list.
I wanted to rewatch it and did not get to it.
And this film is one I like so much, it kind of gives me slight chills. And this is very rare when I get these feelings. When it touches a nerve in a good way, I cannot help but love this film. And we're talking about Whispers of the Heart. Now this is the DVD version. Also, I believe the Disney release of that. Let's see here. Yes. Now, Whispers of the Heart, and I think I don't know whether this has a different... No. No, it fell. Okay. Stay up. Okay, don't stay up then. There. Touch it. Don't touch it. Alright. Whispers of the Heart is about this young girl. She is at a crossroads in life. Japanese school girls and school boys at the end of middle school, that is when they graduate. It's like us graduating high school in a lot of senses, because their high schools are much like our colleges. You have to apply for them. You have to pay for them in many ways. And so technically many of them can start work right out of middle school. And she's at the end of this. She doesn't know what to do. She just loves to read fantasy stories. And then on her way to the library, she sees this strange cat who's taking the train. So she follows the cat to a weird antique shop where she finds this old man and this strange cat statue, referenced again in The Cat Returns. And also meets this boy who she had been following through her books, as he had kept checking them out before her. This leads into many themes. Love, finding oneself, and many other aspects of growing up. It taps into your creative side. It is beautifully animated, wonderfully directed, and both voice tracks are excellent.
Well, there's also the theme of not summarily judging people, because this boy that she's been in love with because of the things he checks out, she's also repeatedly met and summarily rejected him as this horrible person. It just doesn't put two and two together for a while. But yeah, that's a good one.
So, any case, that was that one. It also has an excellent soundtrack. Again, another one that has a good English soundtrack. It has that Dolly Parton cover at the beginning. It's Dolly Parton?
No,
not Dolly
Olivia
Newton-John. Yeah, okay. They all sound alike to me.
You didn't really mention that she is a poet and lyricist, and she's been working on a rewrite of Country Roads by John Denver.
For their graduation.
Yeah.
And this is, like I said, music is a general theme. The guy she's with is making violins, wants to make violins like professionally. It is very cool hearing the scene where where he basically says, "Come on, I'll play for you, but you've got to sing," and she sings her rendition of it, unsure at first, but gaining confidence as it goes along. The other people kind of come in and they start playing their own instruments. It is a wonderful scene. But again, a great movie anybody should see. 1995, named Mimi o Sumaseba. 111 minutes, again, fairly long film for, what we're dealing with here. Again, an excellent rating on ANN. So we do have some things we concur on. Director is Yoshifumi Kondo. Not a lot of director credits. A lot of animation.
Well, part of it's
credits.
because he died very young.
Yes.
He died not long after this film came out, from what I remember.
But I was surprised, actually, by the fact that he directed one that I was also familiar with not long ago. Little Nemo and the Adventures in Slumberland. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of cool how you know some of these people from these types of things. Excellent film, excellent director. We're going to move away from Ghibli for number 5, but we're going to keep with a master director. This is a film that should not surprise many of you, and that is Your Name. You can see I've got this massive thing here.
It's a cool looking set.
Yeah, you open it up, you got the DVD, you got a book inside, and I'm sure that it'll be shown again later on.
And the soundtrack.
It has a lot of coolness to it.
Yeah.
It is a film we've talked about before. Essentially, it starts off as sort of a body swap strangeness thing and turns into a much deeper story of love and even survival as we travel through time and space in order to try and save those bonds that we form.
Spoiler alert.
So, essentially, this one is directed by the great Makoto Shinkai, who has made the first appearance on this list. Of course, this film was made in 2016, not a long time ago. Japanese name, Kimi no Nawa. 106 minutes long. Not the longest on this list, oddly enough. It is considered a masterpiece by A&N.
I think it's their top-rated anime, is it not?
It must be. It's close to it.
When we did the list of series, I remember it was number 1. I haven't checked recently.
You never know. It can everything can change in the world of anime. And not long after it came out, it got a lot of hype. So, and we've had like a Silent Voice come out after that and several ones, so it's very possible it could have been knocked down. But again, excellent film. I love the animation. Has a wonderful soundtrack. I still feel that the two prior to it, the Ghibli films, had better soundtracks, but this one I felt had a deeper
I love
story.
The soundtrack for Your Name.
And I didn't say it was bad. I just said the other two were better.
And it was huge. There was that one song by Radwimps did the songs.
Yes.
One of those songs was, a lot of people were calling it the Japanese equivalent of Let It Go. It was like everywhere, apparently.
Well, again, it was an excellent thing. I'm proud to actually have that giant edition. So, to me, it's a well-worthy addition to my anime list. I didn't think I was going to like it enough to put it in my top 10 when I first saw it. It's like, this is too much, too hyped. By the same person that brought me A Place Promised in our early days, which I hate to this day. It just surprises me. But it's going to surprise me even further as we go.
Right.
So number 4. Perfect Blue. You know, we couldn't have had this list without at least one Satoshi Kon mention.
Exactly.
Kon this is my, of course, my Blu-ray version. It has not been opened yet because I meant to rewatch it and I haven't. We did cover this on Inside Movies Galore in August. The first anime we have covered on this show.
And the first anime ever viewed by one of the people on our show.
Yes.
What a way to start.
Wonderful actually be able to get the person who sat out to actually watch the other ones that we put up. But this one is particularly fun. It is a cool thriller where you have got this girl who is a part of a idol group. And she is wanting to leave the group in order to become an actress. But many people do not like this. Some of her fans don't like this, and it seems even a version of herself doesn't like this choice. Many things start to go wrong. Chat rooms come up. Odd accidents start to happen around her. And a strange stalker who identifies themselves as her seems to be after her. It is something like, if you are familiar with Kon film, the themes of madness and just in general strangeness are present, but there's an intensity to this that rivals most thriller films. I don't care whether you like anime or not. If you like thrillers, you will like this film. My wife liked that film, and she has a slight prejudice against anime. So I would recommend this to even non-anime people. So let's go down the little rundown I have on this. I spent all that time looking it up, you know. So, of course, Satoshi Kon, 1997. It's hard to believe it's been, like, over 10 years.
Well, they just...
actually, almost 20.
Well, over 20.
Oh, yeah.
It came out here, I think, in 98, so last year was the 20th anniversary release of here in the States.
So, Japanese name, Pafakuto
Perfect Blue.
Hey, I'm trying to do the Japanese here. I know that's what it means, but still. 80 minutes long, rated A&N excellent.
Yes.
So we fell from masterpiece. But still, an excellent film. Number 3. We are returning to the world of Makoto Shinkai.
We didn't get very far.
No. And with a film I really liked called 5 centimeters per second. And the original reason I got this was because it was out of print and going for a freaking fortune.
Yes.
And I was like, what is so good about this film that people wanting $75 to $150 for it?
Right.
So I got to see it, and it is a deep and touching story about bonds between two people as they go through life, showing people that are meeting together and are unfortunately parted by circumstances beyond their control.
Yes.
Life finds a way, but it also finds a way to join them again, even if briefly, in those magic moments. It has a beautiful quality to the animation and sound that Shinkai is well known for. You can see it in all the films, even A Place Promised in our early days. It is there. And it is ever harping on the theme of relationships and connections. Usually connections going through a strain. I mean, this one really, in a way, I feel like it connects pretty strongly to Voices of a Distant Star because it's got a very big similarity to it.
Distance is usually a theme
Yes.
in there. Yes.
Done in 2007. Of course, the title, Biosoku 5 centimeter.
Cool. Centimeter.
62 minutes in length, so obviously the longest film on this entire.
Well, and actually, it's notable. It's actually technically an anthology film.
Yeah.
It is one story with one central male protagonist, but it's 3 separate films, and
Yeah.
one of them is about 8 minutes long.
And this one's also out of print because this is a
Yes.
Bandai release. I think you got the Blu-ray.
No, I have that edition.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. And embarks it as a masterpiece. So we're back up to masterpiece again.
Yeah.
And it is, to me, a masterpiece of a film. Alright, we're up to our top 2.
Nice.
Alright, so another one I watched out of recent time. And that one is A Silent Voice. I was actually surprised and not surprised. Again, I hate falling for the hype when it comes to a film. So everybody's like, best film ever. You don't like this film? I don't know what's going on with you because it's the best film ever. If you haven't seen it, you need to like it because it's the best film ever. I'm like, I want to see it first, then I'll judge for it. But it touches on a lot of themes. It is about a young child, and we've talked about this at length many times before. Go back to our channel to get a full-length story, but I'm going to do the short one because I'm trying to make this a fairly compact 30-minute dish top 10. It's about this young boy and this group of hoodlums that he runs with, and they decide that they're going to pick on this deaf girl in class. And they're horrible to this girl. Eventually, it gets so bad the girl has to leave. He ends up taking the brunt of the damage of this. No, she doesn't have to leave. He has to leave, I believe, doesn't she?
No, she leaves. She changes schools.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he takes the brunt of all this, and he has to leave. And he goes through heck. So this, and when he comes and meets her again, it is after a time where he contemplates his own death. And it really does ask the question, are we capable of forgiveness, even for something so heinous? Now, this is this touches on a lot of themes. Bullying, disability. I believe that the voice actress who filmed this actually was deaf.
At least for the English version.
Yes. I don't know about the other one, but...
And this, I heard someone comment the other day, this is apparently one of the only significant deaf characters in any anime or manga.
So that's,
they dealt really well with it.
It is really good.
Yeah.
The characterizations are amazing. The story and character writing is beyond what I would have expected from anything else. To me, this is probably one of the greatest films, and probably the greatest film animated film of 2016. And I think Your Name came out that year too.
Yes.
So to me, I actually liked it much better than Your Name.
Wow.
Which shows, because to me, Your Name was a great film. It made my top 10 for goodness sakes. But this one strikes it even further home with great themes, amazingly deep characters, and a story that makes you look at a bully in a different light. I'm not going to go any further than that because I know you've gone like big depth into this particular one many times. So, done in 2016, Japanese name Koe no Katachi, 130 minutes in length, the longest of my films in the top 10, and a masterpiece, directed by Naoko Yamada, also known for films such as K-On! And Liz and the Bluebird.
I forgot she did that one. She also did Tamako Love Story, notably a female director.
Yes.
And also notably one who works for Kyoto Animation. Were you going to make that?
Yeah, I was actually. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
So this is also the shout out to them because they had that fire recently. And by the way, in the description below, you will get a link to donate to, well, to help out. If you want to. Alright, before we get to this, I have a few honorable mentions.
Okay.
First off, one of the first anime movies that I truly fell for, which was in this collection, which is the Ranma movie to Ni Hao My Concubine.
Nice.
Now, of course, this is the collection that has it in there. You can actually see a picture of the from the film there. To me, it has one of the best fight scenes in all of anime, where one of my favorite characters, Moose, goes up to fight for his love shampoo. I actually remember showing you that particular part.
No, you showed me the whole thing. And I forgot about it. And I watched the entire damn series and both movies. And on the third, that's the one he showed me.
But it was an excellent fight. I still to this day, it's one of my favorite fight scenes in anime. Excellently animated, considering the series age. And I really like A Piece of Love, which is an awesome song. Not as much as I like the theme from the first movie, but still, it was a kick-ass song.
And isn't that the one that gave us that great phrase that you liked so much? Damn those cursed octopi.
So the next one on this is When Marnie Was There.
Ooh, nice.
Another one from a competitor of Ghibli. Awesome film. I'm not going to go into depth again. These are honorable mentions.
No, that was Ghibli.
Okay, so
That was their last one, I think.
this one, really good story, really in depth. Had me slightly in tears towards the end. Was worth a mention. Just barely scraped off of the list. Next up on this, Project A-ko. I couldn't not put a classic on there. Now, this is the entire collection. I got this for $24 back in the early aughts. That's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
And this is the original movie. If you have not seen Project A-ko, you should check it out. It's glorious fun. It's not that deep. The music is kind of fun and catchy, both in the English and Japanese. You should check it out. Alright.
Check it out.
Last of my honorable mentions, Liz and the Bluebird. Great film. Enjoyable. It is kind of it's a spin-off movie of Sound Euphonium. I would recommend you watching Sound Euphonium, but I wouldn't recommend you buying Sound Euphonium because it's incredibly expensive. Alright. Now let's go to number 1. Alright, so number 1, we have a film that you should not be surprised by.
Not
A
particularly.
1991 film. Japanese name, Omohide Poro Poro. For those of you who speak Japanese, you already know. It's 118 minutes long. And in rating of very good. By Isao Takahata, the late Isao Takahata, if I remember correctly, who created such films as Pompoko, Panda Go Panda, and many more. But again, I usually just take 2 per.
Right.
And that is the film Only Yesterday. Who would have thought another Ghibli title would have got onto my list as a number 1?
Who'd have thunk it?
I was fascinated with this film because I saw all of these Ghibli films getting released here in the States, but this one was left out. And I had to know why. So I got a Chinese bootleg of it because I was then told Disney was never going to release it because reasons.
Yes.
Later, those reasons came out because they talk about a woman's time of the month, and apparently that isn't even that's too much even for Miramax.
Well, it was more than talking about it. The kids made a schoolyard game out of it that took about 4 minutes of the movie's runtime.
That's still no. Still, they could have put it on the same place that published Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
It could have been a Miramax release.
Because, I'm sorry, this is not as bad as Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. No. This is the journey of a person as she transitions into middle adulthood, into her 30s, which as a 40-year-old man, that kind of makes me sad.
Sad to say it's middle adulthood.
It talks about her youth as she reminisces, and she thinks about her future. This is a wonderfully ponderous film with a gentle soundtrack and excellently written characters. The animation is also very good. It bothers me in places because it makes them look a lot older than they really are.
Yes, the 20-somethings look like they're our age.
So, you know, I mean, look at her in this picture. I mean, they also give a lot of wrinkles to the characters. At some points, they, you know, like when they're smiling, they get lots of wrinkles to them. But, again, this is a spectacular film. It blew me away when I first saw it, and I was sad and angry that it never got a release. Until
2016.
Recently. So,
2017.
I had to pick it up as soon as I could get it. I wanted to pay the full amount because I wanted them to know, yes, we want this. I cannot say enough how much this film means to me in the collection. And that is my number 1 anime film.
Alright.
So, hopefully you enjoyed our list. Tell us what your favorite top 10 are in the comments below. Of course, stay tuned for next week when we talk about his top 10 anime movies. This has been SeptumSin, and we will be seeing you on the next one.
Alright.